everybody, welcome back to Angry Badger Minis. Sorry we weren't here the last couple of days. Had some stuff going on, and more importantly, for the hobby, we needed to figure out what we bought and how it plays in 40K. So what you see here is finally hours of work trying to figure this out. Besides the Titan and the Imperial Knight, it's about, I'm sorry, 2 Titans, because I forgot I have a Warlord Titan for this Krieg Death Army. Besides those pages, there's 50 pages of basic roster for the entirety of this army. I have some chimeras on the way for this army. They may end up, or one of them may end up being some type of artillery piece. But also on top of that, I was trying to figure out how I wanted to put the rest of these guys together, and that's the thing, is I had to make sure that I wasn't that I didn't screw myself over with the stuff that I bought as far as command upgrades and things like that, because some of these guys will end up being sergeants or what have you, and the rest of course will not be. But basically what I've broken it down to is we have broken this down to literally 3 platoons. We were able to figure it out. I guess I didn't purchase it that way, but I was able to figure it out. 3 platoons of 3 squads each, and then they'll have 2 command squads each, even though one of the command squads will look different from, as far as the banner will look different than this regimental standard. And then we have 1 special weapon squad per platoon. I believe it's 1, might be 2. No, I think it's 1, and then 1 per. And then we have 1 engineer squad of 5, Kriegsmen for each platoon. And then we've got commissars, we've got marshals, we'll have our cavalry fast attack, we've got Baneblade, we've got Hellhounds, the Devil Dog portion or kind, mainly because Marine Corps. But we also have the artillery shaker batteries, 3 of them, or the carriages, I'm sorry, or shaker carriages, not artillery shakers. I don't know what the heck I was saying. I mean, I guess it's the same thing, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking at. We've got a lot of different special weapons and things like that. I'm not, unless I purchase more Kriegsmen down the road or something, which I don't know that that's going to be the case as it stands right now, unless I get them off of eBay or something like that. It looks like I'm going to have quite a few extra pieces in regards to special weapons and things like that. Plus we had to figure out who our Vox operators are going to be, and then I kind of had to relearn the rules, because it's not the way it used to be, where the Vox operator basically said, or basically made it so that if you were within a certain amount of distance, you could, use the leadership of an officer. Well, I guess that's not the case anymore. So that kind of, again, I bought the army based off of that, and it had been that way for, years, at least since I started playing in, around 98 or so. Well, 97, I guess, but 98 really. And, it's a different thing now. So you're going to have, my understanding is you're going to have officers that bridge the gap, for orders and all this other kind of stuff they got going on. And then, of course, trying to figure out how the Krieg are actually going to work, along with the tanks, the Lehman Russes that I have. I've got a spearhead detachment, all kinds of stuff. So, I'm still working on the troops, and the reason being is due to the change, due to the change identifying the sergeants and stuff like that, I'm gonna have to wash those parts and trim them up to get them onto the pieces. Right now I don't have them. They're still, I mean, they're still in the boxes over here, you know, in these you know, Krieg weapon sets and stuff. Well, actually this is just for regular dudes, I think. Yeah, so this is not, I'm talking about like the command, there it is, command upgrade. This thing right here, Krieg, Death Korps of Krieg command upgrade. And you can see, you know, there's a chain sword in there, there's a power sword, you know, there's an arm with a las pistol and a chain sword. There's an arm in there, it's a little hard to see, but it's already got a power sword on it. So I just got to get these things washed up and you know, broken out, washed up, and then everything should be good to go. Also, I'm thinking about applying those chain swords, say, to, you know, these command squads here, which are only 4 guys now, not 5 like it used to be. So it's going to be an interesting take. So something you guys that are out there that play guard that you might consider doing, and what I've done, at least in my lineup, is I took these command squads, and you can't take a command squad, or I'm sorry, let me put it this way, you can only take a command squad, 1 command squad per officer that has officer in, you know, the word officer in their keywords. So you can either have, you know, 2 officers that are your HQs. You know, of course, your commissars aren't going to count as officers, so that's one thing you're going to have to consider. You could take, what was I going to say? Oh, I took Masters of Ordnance, and they count as officers, and I wanted them anyway, so it worked out great. So anyway, that being said, the way I broke this down, let me show you as we're looking at this, is that in short, and I don't have one put together yet, but when you first opened up this thing, you had, you know, this guy, I'm sorry, that's not right, you know, your regimental standard guy, you had, you know, a Vox operator, you had the sergeant guy, or whatever you want to call him, you had a special weapons dude, and then you just had an extra, you know, if you will, for a 5-man team. No, wait, no, I'm sorry, that's not right. You had 2 special weapons guys, that's what it was. Only one just happened to, it came with a plasma and a melt-a-gun guy. So this is, yeah, this right here is what you had in the box, essentially, okay? But it doesn't work like that anymore. So the plasma guy basically went away. Every infantry squad I have has a plasma rifle with it, or a plasma gun, sorry, except for maybe 1 or 2 because I ran out of plasma guns. And as far as that's concerned, I mean, the melt-a-guns were already put together, so I just went ahead and rolled with that. But I do have the weapons to, you know, intertwine it. So, but what happens now is, to maximize my lethality and the fact that these guys are essentially veterans and they have a ballistic skill of 3+, I took these guys out, and instead, and while I don't have one put together, I'm sure you guys can figure this out, I put a las cannon team in place. So now I have 6 command squads out there that each have a las cannon team at 3+ for their ballistic skill, and they're highly mobile. So the worst I'm gonna shoot, you know, barring any, you know, other modifiers, but if they have to move, you know, and shooting 48 inches is a 4+ like they would normally be before they moved if they were just in a heavy weapons team. I think that breaks it down and gives me considerable fire maneuver capability, considerable, because now my opponent, whoever it is going to have to deal with the fact that all of my las cannons aren't in one spot or what have you. But it doesn't mean that my las cannons can't all target the same target. See what I mean? So it's, again, I say my opponent, I mean, who am I going to be playing? My wife? So I'm gonna have to go. Oh, that 6 wasn't really a 6, it was a 1. No, I'm kidding. She's not that bad. But she rolls natural 6s all the time. I don't understand it. She's probably cheating. Probably has loaded dice from Vegas or something. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that's basically what it boils down to is, you know, these 2 guys right here would end up being my las cannon team attached to standard bearer, or sorry, regimental standard guy and Vox operator. And I think that's going to give a ton of maneuverability for these guys. Or at least it's not going to knock out all my firepower in one, where let's just say that I mean, unless I deploy stupidly, you know, somebody else is playing guard, or somebody else has, you know, death guard or something like that with some type of artillery, or any type of artillery piece that doesn't need line of sight. Excuse me, all my eggs are not in one basket. So hopefully that's a helpful tip for you guys. So and it, you know, and it doesn't leave me hanging with, you know, the 6 las cannon sets that I bought. Every infantry squad also has a heavy bolter team attached to them, so they're going to have, you know, even though if they move they'll be, you know, I think they'll be shooting, you know, 5+. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to have some type of, you know, volume of fire going downrange. Listen to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with where this went. My veteran teams, I'm sorry, special weapon squads, they have turned into, they vary from, say, 2 grenade launchers with a heavy flamethrower, to 2 flamethrowers with 1 grenade launcher, to I think we've got, where is it? I think we had one that was, yeah, there it is. Flamethrower, melt-a-gun, 2 flamethrowers and a melt-a-gun. So obviously when you're doing this, you'll have, you know, a total of 6, you know, 6 guardsmen, or, you know, in my case, Kriegsmen, because guardsmen are weak. No, I'm kidding. But you know, this would be essentially what, you know, what it is that you're looking at, and I've got, you know, at least 1 per platoon, and that's how I'm calling it. I'm calling it a platoon because I'm basically forming it in such a way as, like, back when I was in the United States Marine Corps, you know, 3 squads, you know, per platoon, that kind of thing. So it just helps me keep things straight in my head. So if you can't get in my head, you know, or wrap yourself around what's in my head, I don't blame you. But definitely that's where I'm going with that. So I think these are going to be, you know, actually the engineer squads, because I have mole launchers with those, which also aren't broke out yet. They will be a minimum of 5 men per, obviously. But, you know, because you have the engineer master, I think is what he's called. But besides that, what you also have, I'll have a couple extra Kriegsmen. Now, yeah, I could potentially do a squad, or, you know, an understrength squad or something like that, but that's not something I'm really interested in doing. I mean, it's just too much of a headache to, you know, to deal with. I mean, maybe if I was doing a smaller game, or maybe if I get into kill team, maybe those guys become some kind of kill team, you know, deal. But I think my engineers would probably, you know, suffice for that. Excuse me. As you can see, life does not stop here. We've been exponentially tired. We've got a little one that's adjusting to the world. If you can hear her in the background, I don't know, but either way, you know, life is good. So I'm planning on jumping on Tabletop Simulator at some point, maybe not tonight, but because I want to try out this army just to see what goes on. And I'm bored. I mean, I'm not bored from putting the models together. I want to play, you know what I mean? And right now, the only thing that I'm doing is putting models together, washing models, moving stuff around, in, you know, in the dungeon, as we call it, you know, where the game room is, to make room for all of this stuff. And we still have to make another trip to the hardware store to get some more of the fasteners to make more shelves. And you know, this army will probably end up with 2 knights. Well, it's gonna have, you know, Warhound Titan, Warlord Titan. Now, it's not a Forge World Warlord. It's gosh, what was the name of that place I bought it from? It's and it's in my first video. If you guys take a look at it, I think they call themselves the Manufactorum or something like that. They're out of Greece. It's one of their very first warlords that they ever made, and I bought 2 of them. It's, you know, mainly foam, and then they've got it's either 3D printed or resin pieces that are glued to it, and it actually looks really nice. It looks like the oh gosh, what's the Lucius pattern Warhound to me, which, you know, like if you guys ever read the graphic novels Titan, you know, from Warhammer. I'm trying to think. I think it was Warhammer Monthly, and they put it all together back in the day. It's like that Lucius pattern Titan that was in that, you know, in that storyline, and to me, that's the first Titan that I ever fell in love with, and to see that I was able to buy something like that for literally half of what GW's was, and if I'm not mistaken, it's even bigger, which works for me because in my mind they're god machines. They should be massive, and you're not going to tell me, you know, I want the story version of what I see on the table, if that makes sense to you guys. I want that fiction. I want that when I was reading that graphic novel, and I'll have to find them and bring them out sometime. I want that when it says that 3 guys fit in the head of that Titan, that you can look at, you know, you look in the book, and I mean, they're literally like, you know, turning around looking at each other, you know, because the Princeps is sitting back there, you know, ways. There's room enough for somebody else to walk around in there. That, you know, there was one point where that particular what was the name of that Titan? I think it's Dictatio. I think was the name of that Lucius pattern Titan. I might be wrong, but either way, where it was taken over, they were being boarded, and the entire crew, to include the Princeps. I think they were hit with some type of either nuclear blast or EMP, or there was an EMP shockwave from the blast or whatever, and they decided, or I mean, they started getting boarded from below, you know, at the feet level, and so they went out to fight this, and in the process, it was a distraction so that some Chaos guys, spoiler warning, you know, got in there and tried to take over Dictatio. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the Titan. Well, I mean, there was all kinds of stuff going on in there. I mean, even to the point where, you know, it didn't go well for the Chaos guys, and the Titan fought back, basically, but I won't spoil that part of it. And when they were, the Princeps is like, you know, Moderati, get these bodies out of here, and they're dragging bodies. I mean, my point is, it's not that small, the way that we see things as they are, in my opinion. I mean, we all know that Games Workshop sucks when it comes to scale, but, you know, I try to make it the best that I can. So even if that means I got to prop the model up, you know, higher on something, you know, whatever, there will be some considerable work that needs to be done with those warlords, because they are very top heavy, and I've had them, my gosh, man, since 2014, basically the same time I bought this Krieg army. And why that's, you know, relevant is because the dowels and things that hold it together, the foam and everything, I think the compression from all of that is kind of worn on them. But because they are so massive, okay, and maybe I'll put it on table sometime and show you guys, because they are so massive, I don't want to put their feet on a base. I mean, the feet are, I'm not exaggerating, they gotta be every bit, I bet I could make the foot right here with these dudes. They gotta be every bit as wide as, I mean, even with the toes, let's just say, here, let me just do this real quick, just to give you guys an idea of the footprint here. Each foot has to be easily at a minimum this size right here. To give you an idea, there's my hand. Actually, to give you an idea, here's one Space Marine. Okay, easily able to cover this Space Marine. So if I put a base on there, you know, that base is going to sit around this thing. I'll never be able to move it amongst terrain if I ever wanted to move it. Now, I know some of you guys are probably like, dude, the thing probably will shoot further than any table you could ever make. Haha, you don't know that, because I am awesome at building tables, or used to be anyway, I'll put it that way. And I fully intend to have another 8-foot by 16-foot table at a minimum, for that very reason. Now, yes, you could still put this thing at the end of the table and never move it, but what fun is that? You know what I mean? I mean, I made games, or, you know, narrative games, where the Titan was the objective, and the goal was to, you know, to get to the Titan, take it over, and then get the Titan off the board. You know what I mean? And of course, you know, it didn't have full void shields and health and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I mean, you want that thing, you know, you want that thing moving on the battlefield, just because, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm not going to do any building on this stream tonight. I'm actually like super exhausted. I haven't slept in even the last couple of days really, and I'm trying to get on a better sleep schedule. But when you got babies, that's how it goes, man. And just so you're aware, we're going to do, you know, every night we're going to be trying to be here 8:30. That's the plan for whatever it is that we're doing. So, you know, mark it in your calendar. You know, maybe set an alarm, whatever it is you want to do, set a reminder, that kind of stuff. But regardless, whether it's a video that I've done, whether I'm gaming, or whether I'm putting models together, whatever the case is, the goal is 8:30. And the reason being is, got to put my little man down at 8 o'clock, and you know, it's we're going to try to make sure that we're still consistent. So again, I apologize, you know, the first 2 days that we've really missed back to back like that since we've started this thing. But I mean, I can assure you that I've still been working on things. I just needed to, you know, take a break with family and actually get some shut-eye. So that being said, I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.